Hello and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be talking about early to mid-game crafts that I like to start in my hideout. And the reason that the hideout is important is because you can gain a lot of found and raid items from it. And you can also make slight profits, although that is not the main focus for me until later, as I think it's important to increase your crafting skill. And you can see here under the skills tab how you level up. Hideout management, the best way to level this up is just by burning filters and fuel and leaving it running 24/7. The crafting, you want to level this up by alternating your crafts so you're not always crafting the same things. So I'm going to show you today what I like to craft, and we'll start in the lavatory. The first thing that I usually craft in the lavatory is at level 2. You get these 60 rounders there for a quest. Ice cream cones, you need 3 of them for that quest, and then you also need a 4th one for the gunsmith part 2. After I'm finished with that, I don't really craft those anymore, as the keg tape are usually more expensive, but you can see they're actually pretty cheap right now, so you could do that instead of the barter for a thermometer for this. So 30k for a 60 rounder is not too bad. Next one I like is the Ghidorah, because these can be found from Ragman for about 6,000, and these sell on the flea market for 12 to 15,000, and you can barter for a nice backpack. The next two are the long crafts that I like to do. Whenever I'm done with the fuel canisters, I just feel like it's worth crafting these, and that's mainly because it's a nice long craft and you get a little bit of profit, especially in the early game. Near the late game, the bolts and nuts usually basically break even with the sale price of these, but you know, it's just kind of something to put in here and craft. The bleach is usually going to make you a bit of profit, so this one's good, and it's consistently good throughout the wipe in my experience. And you know, I'm not going to go over exact prices of what you should be looking for, but this one usually makes you a little small profit. This one has been ridiculous for me, this wipe, this fleece fabric, because you get 2 of these hats for 4,000. And then look, these are going for about 30,000. So that's like 24,000 profit, and it's a 40-minute craft. So that's pretty solid there. The last couple ones that I like is the soap. These are good just to keep on hand. You can get them a little bit cheaper doing the craft than buying them, and they're for a good barter once you have Ragman 4. Sometimes I do these army bandages just because I pick up vodkas often in raid, and then I'll just go ahead and craft these because I use these for another craft in the medical center. Early on, you can make tons of profit making these hoses because you get a lot of these, and you can get a lot of wires from the workbench, and then the tubes and the tape I usually end up just picking up, and so I make these when I can. And again, sometimes I get packas back from insurance, so if they're damaged, I'm going to just go ahead and make them into the aramid fiber. You don't really make profit on that one. That one usually loses a little bit of money, but if you have a busted up armor, you might as well make it into something. So that's what I like at Workbench level 2. Now, or that was Lavatory level 2. Now we'll go to Workbench 2. This one is very interesting because later in the wipe, you're pretty much always going to want to craft ammos, and there's a few good ammos to craft here at Workbench 2. This first one is the MK318 mod. This is actually the best 5.56 ammo that you can buy on the flea market, and it's better than anything you can buy from the traders when you have level 2 traders and level 2 workbench. So I've been making this one, not all the time, but usually when I go to sleep or get off for the day, I'm going to just throw that up there, and then I'll use that ammo or sell that ammo because the craft is about half the price of the flea market if you were to gauge that out. So that's a really good one. Making these lenses is really good, but you have to complete the quest informed means armed, because that unlocks the purchase of the Wi-Fi camera from Mechanic. Before you unlock that, it is not worth doing that craft, but I have already hearted it because I know I will eventually like it. Wires, they're fire. They're just always good. You can just, if you don't know what to craft some wires. The green gunpowder is also a very good craft. You can get these off of the traders for cheap, and you end up almost always profiting. I really like this LPS craft because LPS is a really good ammo, especially in the mid game. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be using while sniping until I can buy better ammo off the traders. And it doesn't take too long. This is one that, you know, if I end up with a DVD drive, I'm just going to go ahead and make some printed circuit boards. They usually even out in price. This is going for 20, so these are probably going for 15, so you can make a little money there. But again, I don't think of this as a moneymaker. I level crafting so that eventually at end of wipe, I can make ammo faster. That is pretty much all I craft for. So we'll go over to the nutrition unit. There's not too much here. Also, you should be noting that there are lots of quest items that you can craft. So if I'm not showing everything in this circuit, I probably will go back and show some of the quest items that you might craft later. So what I do in early wipe is I actually alternate between the sugar and the condensed milk because you can make money at the beginning of the wipe. See, this is 18 and this is 20, so that's 38. And you get 3 of these and those sell for about 48,000 total. And then you can make the sugars. And between those, at the beginning of the wipe, you're going to be making a profit, but you have to watch the prices quickly because those will inflate. And then this craft will become a cost and not a profit. And then I also like to sometimes make these water rations if I got a almost empty bottle of water and a kek tape laying around, because I can use these to barter for Solelas off of Therapist. Then you have these Tashankas. I usually end up having to make some of these because you need like 15 for a quest. Making these slickers can be pretty decent. You can use slickers for a barter to get scav vests. There's lots of quests that need scav vests. The Wilstons, that's for bad habit quest. So there's, you know, some quest items there you can craft. Also these Iskras, but usually you get the Iskras pretty easily in raids, so I don't end up crafting those. And the last station is the Medstation. This one I pretty much have cranking out these IFAKs, pile of meds, and the A2 med kit. And so, yeah, I pretty much always make these. I don't even look at if it is making me a profit. I believe it is a small profit. I'm not going to look at the numbers, but I pretty much always craft these. And the reason for that is that I use the IFAKs. I use them, and then if I get like, I don't know, 50 of them and I have too many of them, I just go ahead and sell them on the flea market for about 17,500 ripples. And I don't really care if I profit or not because I make so much more money in raid that I'm just doing these crafts to level my crafting skill. There's a couple other good ones here, like the morphine. That's really good for the quest that therapist. You need to get like 4 of those found in raid. The defibrillator, that is for another quest later down the line, so I'll make one of those at some point. Once I get level 3, I start making my Propatil here too, and I pretty much just crank out Propatil and these IFAKs and pile of meds consistently throughout the wipe. And like I said, I do not care if it makes me a profit or not because I'm going to use those items. And having usable items easily accessible in my stash is way more important to me than any amount of profit the station could be making me. We'll look at a couple more quest items you can craft. You do need some of these printed circuit boards for one of the, what is it? The quest mechanic gives you. The gas analyzer, you can do this as well. I made one of these early in the wipe, and then when this craft was like an hour away from being done, I found one, so that was kind of funny. The G-phones, there's a quest for you need a couple of those. You need some wires for a quest. What else here? Rechargeable batteries, that's for a quest. You need some of these car batteries for a quest, so that one can be pretty good. It's the car repair quest from Therapist. You also need the spark plugs for that car repair quest. So those are a couple of good ones, and let's see if there's any more to note here. I know you need a Clin for a quest at some point, but that's not too important. Late wipe, you can also start making these water filters because they get super expensive, and usually the craft is a little cheaper. But that looks like that's everything. And so these are all the crafts that I would do at level 2 Hideout. As you can see here, I haven't cranked out level 3 on very many of the stations yet. I have the vents and securities, but there's no crafts there. So I just wanted to show you guys what I like to make and basically give my reasonings for it. And usually I buy my you know, uh, crafting goods just whenever I need to do the crafts. I'm not very diligent about prepping them. And that's basically because I just don't really care. As you can see, I've been stocking up on GPUs when they're cheap and filters, because then once I get Bitcoin and the water collector 3, I'm going to be making so much money from just those 2 stations in the hideout that I don't really care about the crafting speed, and I'm only doing crafts to make those cycle faster. So I hope this video is a little bit helpful, and I will catch you on the next one. Please make sure to leave a like or subscribe or comment. That really helps out the video, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.